up your frozen dinners, grab your TV tray, and settle in for another episode of the Plus Platoon, your podcast for all things Disney Plus, brought to you by Disney Plus fans. Watch along with us every week as we cover all the new, the old, the good, and the bad on Disney Plus. So put down that remote, don't touch that dial, and welcome your fabulous Plus Platoon host.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Plus Platoon. We are a Disney Plus fan podcast that gives honest, spoiler-filled reviews of movies and shows on Disney Plus. We'll look at new releases, coming attractions, and we'll even go back into the vault to revisit some of the classic Disney that's on the platform. Make sure you're subscribed and you will never miss a moment. I'm going to bring in Kate. Kate, how you doing this evening?
I'm so good, Derek. How are you?
I'm doing all right. All right. Next, we have got Peter. Pete, good to see you this evening.
Hey, Derek. I realized that we've talked about She-Loki, She-Hawkeye, and also, we haven't talked about her yet, but She-Thor has shown up in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Finally, we're going to be talking about She-Hulk.
Huh.
I like it.
Sure. And back from her wild winging European vacation is Sam. Sam, good to see you back.
Unmute.
Oh, you're muted.
Oh, look, kids, Big Ben in Parliament. Had to give a shout out to National Lampoons over there. But it's great to be back with you guys. Hi, everyone.
Yeah.
I'm a little annoyed, though, that we have to call everybody she blank. Right? Can't they have their own identity?
Well, I just was pointing out that it's kind of funny that we're like getting all these female versions of characters.
I know it's not your fault, Pete. It's all Stan Lee's fault. All right, he did it because he did it in the comics, and so now they're doing it in the movies, and also they're doing it because they don't want to pay the big bucks that they have to pay for Robert Downey Jr. and Friends. Really.
Oh, I forgot She Iron Woman coming, right?
Yes,
That's right.
She Iron Woman. But I want to get my Iron Man 3 sneaks soon, so
Ooh. All right.
Okay, if you have not already, please like, subscribe, share. We are on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, everywhere at Plus Platoon.
We sure are.
all those places.
You'll never
Come see us.
You'll make sure you'll never miss anything we're talking about.
That's right.
Now, as we always do, we do talk a lot. Some more than others.
Sometimes over each other as much as we can.
Much as we try not to.
I'm not looking at you, Pete, or anything.
I will. No. But first, Kate, we've got some Disney Plus news. What do we got this week?
Yeah, just a little bit of Disney Plus news for you. Disney has announced that Disney Plus basic subscription will now have 15 to 30-second commercials at the beginning and the middle of shows. Womp womp. Preschool age shows will not have these commercials. The basic subscription will cost $7.99 per month. That's
Could
it.
be interesting what they consider a preschool age show. I mean, I'm sure it's things like Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, Blue's Clues, those kind of things. Which
do you have to be a basic B in order to subscribe this way?
I thought it was a basic Chopek that you had to be.
There you go. There it is.
Okay.
So what's do we know what the price is for not commercials?
I think it's
Is it $8.99 or $9.99? Yeah, it's either $1 or $2 more.
It's at least $9.99.
Okay.
And then I think the price for the bundles is going up. Or at this point, still free if you're a Verizon wireless cell phone customer.
But which version will we get as Verizon wireless customers?
I don't know.
We
but
don't
if it's
know.
one with commercials, I will start paying more for it because I pay to not have commercials on YouTube. So I'm one of those people.
Well, and I think I'm still on that D23 subscription, just like you, aren't you, Pete? On that.
Yeah, but it ends in November, I believe.
Yeah, and soon, but yeah.
Yeah.
And who knows if I would hope they wouldn't convert that because
Oh, why wouldn't
my understanding is everybody is, I don't know about with the bundles, but everybody that has like the basic Disney Plus will be converted to the commercial version for $7.99, and then you have to go in and upgrade to the non-commercial.
Boo Disney. Boo Bob Chapek. We don't like you.
For some decisions anyway. So
for most things.
Well.
Anyway.
Just stay away from the cruise line, Bob. Stay away from the cruise line.
Fair.
Now, this week on here, we are at the midpoint-ish of She-Hulk. We've had 4 episodes or 5 episodes?
5.
5
episodes. That means there's 4 more episodes to go because I believe it's a 9-episode season. Pete, I'm going to start with you on this one. What on the show has a winning case? What have you liked so far about the show?
So I think we talked about this last week, or maybe it was the week before. In general, like, it's got a different feel from other Marvel shows. It's definitely designed as a comedy versus most of the shows, which are much more dramatic with maybe some humor in them. But this one's definitely playing very broadly, very much trying to play for laughs. The other thing I'll say is it's kind of interesting to have a superhero lead of your show who does nothing heroic, because so far 5 episodes in, this character She-Hulk has not really, other than at the first episode she stopped Titania or whatever, other than that she really hasn't done much.
She kept herself from getting mugged.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, she kept herself from getting mugged.
And she helped get rid of these demon
creatures. The demons, yeah. But I'm just saying, like, overall, she hasn't really exactly like gone out and had these like big fights that we're used to seeing with.
She also Marvel kicked Hulk's butt, in episode 1. So
yeah, I think it was a draw, but but the so I do like that they're trying to do something different. I do like the actors that are in the show. I think Tatiana I'm going to say it wrong, Maslany is doing a real good job in the role. I like a lot of the other actors and how they're playing the characters. The other lawyers, her paralegal, I can't remember the name of the character, but so I like all those characters, and that's kind of keeping me with the show, is that I like the characters. And I'm gonna stop there on my positives. I'm gonna let Sam go next. So,
well, I like medicine with 2 N's and a Y, but not where you think.
Oh, Wongers.
I also like Wong. No, I absolutely love some of the cameos that we're getting. And I like that She-Hulk or Jennifer Walters is doing the fourth wall breaking and commenting about the fact that we got Wong back for the episode 4, and just it adds obviously some additional humor to it. I know some people don't love the fourth wall being broken. I'm okay with it because I liked it in Deadpool, and as I understand, She-Hulk was actually the one who did it first in the comics before Deadpool.
Correct.
So yeah, so I don't mind that part, and I like some of the cameos that we're getting. I actually really enjoyed this last episode, episode 5, where we had this whole trademark fight, and part of why I liked it is because on the whole, they actually got the law right. No, it's not perfect, but it's pretty good. So as a lawyer, I get very critical of legal dramas and legal comedies because most of the time they get it totally wrong. And not to say I'll have some criticisms later about things they get wrong. But I thought they did a really good job with the trademark episode, and I thought it was very poignant that at the end of the episode, how she basically has to humiliate herself in order to win the case. And then the commentary from, I think her name is Mallory, but the woman lawyer who's representing her, who's a colleague of hers, who basically says you can be a superhero and even you can't get like a decent man to appreciate you for who you are.
They'll
right.
still
So
think you can do better.
right. They'll still think,
Yeah.
right. He'll still think he can do better. So it was a really, I don't know, as a woman in this world, it was a really funny and poignant commentary on the world and on issues that women face in the dating world today. So I thought it was, so there's definitely stuff that I am enjoying. I won't go to criticism since I know that's the next topic we'll be talking about. But Derek, what are you liking about She-Hulk, Attorney at Law? I love the title, by the way.
I will agree with Pete that it is something different. It's something that we haven't seen yet from Marvel, which I am, at least, whether I like it or not, it's a credit to Marvel for them to try something different. I will also say that the episodes to me are the appropriate length. They're shorter. And so if you're doing 9 episodes, you got to have, on a series like this, especially if it's going to be a comedy.
It's like a sitcom.
Yeah, there's a reason most sitcoms are 20-some minutes,
Mhm.
realistically. These are running into the mid-30s, which, okay, when you consider the length of a Marvel credit scene. But,
by the way, did I miss it or did they not have a credit scene on this last one? Okay. Yeah, I checked twice because I was confused. And okay, thank you. I'm glad I'm not going crazy.
Cut. Apparently it got left on the cutting room floor. So
Really?
Interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, bless their heart, they're trying. So Kate?
Yeah, it's you all took every positive thing that I was going to say. Starting with,
did you love the Sopranos spoilers, Kate?
What?
Okay,
The Sopranos spoilers
was an old show when we were kids.
Is that old?
Okay, you were talking about Sopranos, the TV show. I get it.
Yeah.
I'm with you now.
With Madison and Wong, and then this is. I thought she was gonna spoil This Is Us for him too. By the way, I really thought she was gonna spoil that because that would have been really funny.
I liked this show. Love the cast. The cast is phenomenal. You've got everybody. From Tatiana to Jamila Jamil, which if you've watched The Good Place, she was on The Good Place. Josh Segarra, who plays Pug, was on Arrow. If you're a DC person, Renee Elise Goldsberry was in Hamilton on Broadway. Like, just this cast is fire. So love that.
That's right. Was she Eliza?
Mm-hmm.
No, Angelica.
No, the other one. Yeah,
she was Angelica.
It was the original Angelica.
Yeah, original Angelica. That's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I love, like what Sam said. I love that she breaks the fourth wall, and just how I even love how they just started the show of like, so did the Hulk. Oh, yeah, I'm a Hulk. Oh, I should probably tell you about that. And how she broke the fourth wall and was like, we don't want to be that kind of show that has a cameo every episode.
Right.
Oh, wait. Like that made me chuckle. Because that's 100% like literally what they've done almost every episode. When I say you all took literally everything I was going to say, I loved the commentary about dating in your 30s as someone who dated in her 30s, and like you can have literal superpowers and he will still be like, nah, I can do better. Like it just, and having her have to sit there in the court and have him be like, She-Hulk was so dope. Jennifer was like, like not really tight, but like She-Hulk, like just,
right. She's like a smart, accomplished lawyer who also happens to be a superhero.
And so when right. And so when her lawyer was like, hey, what he said in there, like, don't listen to him because you are amazing. Those weren't the words she used, but I really liked that moment that they had I don't hate it. I don't hate it. It's not my favorite, but it's not my least favorite. So,
and that was one thing I was curious when the four of us got together, because we have two women here and two men, is obviously you guys see it from a little different view, but like, are you more forgiving of the show because of the women positive message that's in it? I think that kind of stuff is great too, but it doesn't hit me like it hits you. You know, the idea of walking home at night and having to worry about being threatened by men is not something that I
and the fact
think
that
about.
she can kick their asses. I
Right.
love that.
Exactly. Yeah.
No,
so,
there's so yes and no, Pete, to answer your question. So it makes it so there's parts of the show that I really love, right? And I want to, that's kind of how I'm feeling, I think, and probably how Kate's feeling. Or at least that's what I'm reading from what she had said. I'm sort of reading into what she said, but like there's moments I love in this show, but is the show great? No, not yet.
agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I mean, there's great moments, but the show isn't great. Is it bad though? No, I wouldn't say that either, right? It's not my favorite Marvel show yet. And I don't think it's going to be my favorite Marvel show because we're halfway through.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm hoping if it gets better, no, it doesn't have to get a lot better I'm not going to like again, I don't know that it'll be my favorite, but I'm enjoying it. I'm not dreading watching it if that's like a better read on it. I'm enjoying watching it. It's just I wanted it to be even better than it is, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
sounds like we got to move into the next topic.
Kate.
Yeah.
Sam, what do you object to? What is not working for this series?
Oh my God, that CGI is so bad. Like, it's so bad. It's really difficult to, like, it's kind of, it's one of the things that's ruining the show, right? Like, because even when the show has the funniest moments and you're looking at this, like, when she's in her She-Hulk form, it's and even her face is a little weird, but the rest of her, it's just bad. It's just terrible CGI. And I know we talked about this after even just the show opener, about how if they had just done some of this with makeup instead of with CGI, how much better, or even in camera angles. You know, they did in so while I was in London, I went to the Harry Potter studio tour, and they talked about how they did a lot of the making Rupert Grint, who plays Hagrid, look so much bigger than the kids. Sorry, Bobby Coltrane. Thank you, Robert Coltrane.
I was gonna say, wait a minute. I thought Rupert
Grint. Yes, thank you. Sorry. Gotcha. Anyway, making Hagrid look much bigger than the kids, and so much of it is about camera perspective and about making props bigger when they're with the kids, but smaller when they're with Hagrid, right? So like they shoot things in different ways to make the person look bigger. I mean, they do it all the time with Tom Cruise in the movies, and when he's got a female ingenue next to him who's taller than him, right? And they put him on a box or something, right? Like there are like tons of people in Hollywood know how to do these camera tricks to make somebody look, in particular, taller than they are and bigger than they are. And they totally could have done that here in She-Hulk without all of this terrible CGI. So it's driving me crazy. There's some other nitpicky things. I mean, there's some stuff that some of the courtroom things where they've got a witness on the stand, they're asking them questions, and then all of a sudden they start pontificating to the judge and making some argument. That's not how it works in court, and that always drives me crazy. Every legal show does that and does it wrong. So that, like I said, drives me crazy. But the thing that I most object to, the thing that is just driving me bonkers, and that is probably, like I said, making it so I can't enjoy the show as much as I want to, is the terrible CGI. And so I'll just leave it at that and pass to Derek, because that's how bad it is for me.
Yeah, and Sam, I'm 100% in agreement with you. If you ever go online, look up the original Shrek CGI that they used, and this reminds me so much of that, or Scary Sonic the Hedgehog. There was one time the teeth were horrible. And so I think we can all agree the CGI is terrible. Guys, I know y'all liked it. I cannot stand the breaking the fourth wall just for breaking the fourth wall's sake.
I didn't say I liked it.
No. These two.
Yeah.
These two said they liked it. To me, it's breaking it for the fourth wall's sake. It's not adding anything. She's not really, she does it for jokes. She doesn't really do it to have a conversation with the audience. I think if she would have tried to have some kind of, this is really what I'm feeling, and almost more like I hate to say one of those confessional booths on like Real World or all those different reality
Big
shows.
Brother.
But I think there's very little soul in this story.
I can agree with that.
It's yes, she's having trouble dating. Yes, she's having trouble fitting in. But is that really who she is, or is there? It's like it's a shallow character to me.
Yeah, they're not giving us enough depth. I would agree with you. I think I agree with. I disagree with you on the fourth wall. Right. I don't mind it. I think it's
and that's a choice.
Yeah, I do think it's funny, but I agree with you that they could be using it better, and that they could be using it for like not just for laughs for the sake of laughs, but maybe smarter laughs and giving us a little bit more depth into the character. I like that they're using it for laughs. I don't want them to change it to make it sort of serious, but I think you can do depth with laughs, and so there's probably a smarter way for them to do it, or a more powerful way for them to do it.
And I got two more things, but I don't really want to steal everything Kate's going to say again. But one is, we don't really know who the main bad guy is yet. And we're halfway through the series. Because the guys who attacked her were working for someone.
That's true.
Yeah, they were working for someone.
I was rooting for there is no main bad guy, but
that would be great.
You're probably right.
But then the second thing is, we're halfway through this season. Has this really developed this character much at all? Has this done any job for this character other than, oh, by the way, this is She-Hulk and she's green and she's big?
Yeah. I mean, not what Hawkeye did for us with the new Hawkeye, right? Like, so yeah. So I agree. We haven't gotten enough depth.
I would argue any of the other Marvel series were better for developing character. Even Loki, which I loathed. You could see character development in Loki throughout the series. So what bothers you about She-Hulk?
Y'all, we're gonna rename this episode of the Plus Platoon to "Everyone Steals All of Kate's Answers." That is what this episode is now going to be called. CGI, man, is awful. And I'm trying to be a good sport. It probably could be worse, but like, it's just so bad.
Not much.
Yeah, it's so bad.
I thought that I was going to be super original and be the one to say this, but her character development, there's just no depth, because they showed her and how did I didn't actually feel that so much until this episode. Why? Because if someone sat in front of me and said, oh yeah, her alter ego is great, but she's like that would bring me to tears. That now, I'm not everybody, I get it, but like, I don't think that there's a woman in the world, or really anyone in the world for that matter, that you could say those words in front of and they may not show it outwardly, but that it wouldn't cut deep.
Well, and we didn't even find out anything about like her as a person during her dates, right? Like, even when she was trying to date on her own, right? Like, not as She-Hulk, but as herself, like, they had an opportunity to give us like, what is she interested in? What does she care about? What's meaningful to her, right? Like, what is she like? What are her hopes and dreams, like, that are separate from her being a superhero, right? So like, they had a good opportunity to give us more of that depth, and they just have, I feel like they've just foiled that. I don't know. It's like slipped through their fingers or something.
It's also hard going from watching Miss Marvel, which was very character heavy and very, very in depth into her thoughts, her feelings, and like just watching this, it was like she literally had to embarrass herself to prove this. Like they could have gone a little bit deeper into the emotional side of that, and I feel like it would have hooked us even harder. So, Pete.
I mean, I completely agree with what you just said. You know, her main character trait is that she's a woman that gets treated like women get treated. But there's nothing really beyond that depth wise, which is disappointing. My other complaint would be really until episode 4, this was a comedy that wasn't very funny. I didn't laugh a lot, and 3 episodes in, I was kind of feeling like this was the first Marvel series. I was like, I'll keep watching it because I don't hate it, but I'm only watching it for this show, and that's the first time I can say that. Now, episode 4, with Wongers and Madison, and I would also say the 5th episode as well, were better and were funnier because, you know, again, we're playing this show as a comedy. You got to make me laugh more than 2 or 3 times in an episode, because normal Marvel makes me laugh 2 or 3 times in an episode. So, yeah, I think I want it to be broader, I think. And those episodes, you know what I mean? Like from a comedy standpoint, I want it to be a little bit broader comedy, a little bit bigger. I mean, you got superhero characters in it. Have them do exaggerated things, you know, use that for comedy. You know, and
I think episode 4 was the best in that way with the magician with Wong. Yeah, the magician was just so ridiculous himself, right? And then Wong was so funny, and Madison was so funny, but She-Hulk really wasn't that funny. I mean, the dating stuff was okay.
The dating stuff was okay, but it was the weakest part of the episode. But yeah, I mean that was definitely the strongest episode, and it was strongest because I was laughing during it the most. And so I hope that we get more of that.
The dating stuff made me want to cry, not laugh, though.
Right.
Too.
Yeah. Not right. The other comment I guess I would make about the CGI is I've kind of accepted it at this point, and most of the time it doesn't bother me. Every once in a while there'll be a shot of her that's like so bad I can't help but notice it. But I've kind of tried
close up on her She-Hulk face to me.
Right. Yeah, it's just so plastic looking.
I know.
No, plastic but may look better. A plastic on her face may look better.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't get that why they did that, and I'm sure they're hearing it from fans and just in general. But so that's kind of how I feel, is like, you know, I want more depth to the character. I want the show to be funnier. I want the character, I guess, to be a little more like enjoy being a She-Hulk, you know. So
and that does kind of lead us over into the next part. And Kate, no one's going to steal your answers on this one because you get to go first. What do you want from the last 4 episodes? What's either going to save this show for you, or help this show not be the worst show, or what do you want from the rest of the show?
A little bit more comedy. I think Pete actually said it better than I could put it into words, of a little bit broader, more broad comedy. More cameos, because I think that's helping this show. And I wouldn't mind a little bit of a deeper dive into who she is, and a storyline, like how is this gonna move us forward now? So that's me. Pete?
I actually don't mind the lack of storyline. I kind of like that this is just, you know, it's a comedy, it's kind of episodic, and, you know, I as I said, I almost don't want to see some big bad come bring everything together. I'm probably with Derek. I'm sure there's going to be something that's gonna draw that all in, but I hope it's not too big a bad. I'd like it to keep keep the tone of the last 2 episodes. You know, those to me so far were the best. Just keep making it funny and keep I don't know. And I'm with Derek, kind of the fourth wall thing didn't really work for me, except a couple times in the 4th episode it did. You know, I know they're going to keep doing it. It doesn't, I don't know. There's better ways to do it. And I'm not sure, you know, than to just kind of have her like mugging at the camera, which is kind of how she's doing it. But as I said, in episode 4 and 5, I thought there were some moments where she talked to the camera that worked better. And maybe it's just because I'm getting used to it. I don't know. I
think it's just because they were better episodes, honestly, Pete. And so that commentary was better, and the episodes were better, right? So yeah, I have to agree with you. I liked it more in those episodes, but I don't think it was because I got used to it. I think it was just because those were better episodes and more funny commentary.
They used it better, and yeah,
they just did it better. Yeah.
So what about you, Sam? What do you want to see?
Okay, I want to continue seeing the episodic nature of it, like Pete, you do. I like that we're having one sort of case in each story and each episode. I like that. But I do want to see some tie-ins, right? I want to see some, and I know we're starting to see some tie-ins, but we've got a new character who just got introduced to us, who is, I'm going to call him the Edna Mode of of the Avengers, perhaps, but who designs, the uniforms for superheroes, and now we know he's designed something. A suit and something special for She-Hulk, and we don't know what that something special is yet. So I want to see more of him. I think it'll be interesting to see how, because he can be more of a tie-in to something else in the MCU. I do think we'll probably get a couple more cameos, which might also help tie us into the rest of the MCU. I want to see more Madison because I think she's hilarious, honestly. And more Wong because I think Wongers is awesome as well. I had something else and it's escaping me right now. Yeah, so I want to see a little bit of a tie-in to. I don't need more Bruce Banner though. I don't need more Hulk. Because his CGI is terrible also. But I would like to see a tie-in. Maybe we'll see one of the newer, the new Avengers, I'll call them, but the more recent heroes that we've seen. Maybe we'll see somebody else pop up in She-Hulk.
I'm not sure if this is spoilers or not, but based on the end of that last episode, never mind. I'll let Derek talk.
But I want to see the uniform. I want to see whatever her new uniform is going to be. So I will end on that and say I need to see. Oh, I want to see more bootleg merch, some Avengers or Avengers bootleg merch. That was hilarious.
Go ahead,
All
Derek.
right, Derek.
Well, Pete was about to make it so steal everything Derek was going to say also.
I stopped.
Yeah, you did stop. At the end of it, guys, we saw Daredevil's new helmet.
Yes, that's right.
Daredevil, and we've seen this from the different trailers and the previews that have been in commercials that have been out. But Daredevil will be showing up, which is where I think we're going to get the connection to a bigger bad. I think that's where
Wilson Fisk.
I don't know. It could be that. It could be Kingpin coming in because we know
that is Kingpin.
That is Kingpin.
Wilson Fisk is
Kingpin.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The only reason I know that is because I watched the first season of Daredevil in my journey.
I hope it's someone other than that, to be perfectly honest. I hope
I don't think he'll be in this.
Great villain.
I don't think he'll be in this series, but maybe we'll get some sort of, nod to him.
Yeah. But just because I think some of the stuff we've seen in the previews with Daredevil, I think he's coming up in this coming episode. And I think everything I've seen on him with the different trailers and stuff has been much darker. Like it's at night and let's face it.
Well, remember he's a lawyer too. So this is a nice little tie-in, right? Like, so he, in the Daredevil series, he's this, crusading blind lawyer, and then also who happens to be Daredevil at night. So it's an easy way to tie it in.
Yeah.
They can meet in the courtroom.
That's kind of what I'm hoping it's going to be. I actually don't want to see him as Daredevil. I just want to. I mean, I haven't seen the trailer, so I don't know. But I'd like to just see them against each other in the courtroom.
I like that.
We've got 4 episodes left, and we will definitely revisit She-Hulk when the finale rolls around.
So no ratings yet, right?
No ratings yet because we're not done with the series. Now, speaking of a series that we pulled up for this week, Cars on the Road. It was a Disney Plus premiere. It features the original Owen Wilson as Lightning and Larry the Cable Guy as Mater. And the idea is they are going on a road trip from Radiator Springs to Mater's estranged sister's wedding back east. There's 9 episodes. Official running time on each episode is about 11 to 12 minutes. In reality, they run probably 8 or 9 per episode. It reminds me of about the length of an old Looney Tunes cartoon type length. And Pete, I'm going to go. I think. Now, you know what? I want to give you a chance, Kate. Kate, I'm going to go with you on this one to start. Is it a good road trip or not?
No, it's awful. It's not awful. It's not
Tell us
awful.
how you really feel, Kate.
I
mean, stop beating around the bush so much and just tell us, okay?
It's not as funny. I think I only chuckled one time. And that was, I know exactly the part it was. It was during the scary hotel episode when he's trying to get away from the girls and he goes like that. Oh my gosh, that had me chuckling, but it just wasn't, it did miss the mark. And now, to be fair, I'm ranking that in my head with Olaf Presents, Doug Days, like those that were so good and so funny, and this just didn't hit. So, Pete, you go.
It was a bad trip, man. Yeah, no, I don't. I didn't like it very much.
Well done.
Yeah. Yeah, it was not a very good series. I mean, I like the concept of it. We all talked off screen about like the older set of shorts, which is like Mater's Tall Tales, that we had watched. Some of us had watched some episodes, and like some of those were really funny, and they were shorter. Actually, they were only like 4 or 5 minutes. For only being 8 or 9 minutes, some of them were too long. And I
Stop
did
stealing what I was gonna say, Pete.
All right, I'll stop. You go.
Well, thanks, Pete. Yeah, I was gonna say that each of these was about 5 or 6 minutes too long. Each of these could have been like a 3 or 4 minute short, and maybe they would have been better. I think I should say they definitely would have been better if they were shorter. I did not enjoy these. I only got through the first 4, and I kept getting disinterested and would sort of lose track of what was going on and be playing on my phone or something. So yeah, these I really liked the prior Mater series. And I know Pete and I both watched a bunch of those just for fun because we both really, really enjoyed them, and he was telling me which ones to watch. And so I'm a big Mater fan and a Lightning McQueen fan and love the original Cars movie. And so I thought I would like these. And so I was really, really surprised that I did not, and that they really were this bad. But yeah, way, way, way too long, each one of them. I feel like if they cut them down to, 3-4 minutes, and remember the Olaf ones were super duper short. Even the prior Cars ones were each maybe like 4, 5, 6 minutes at the most. The little Groot ones we watched were also maybe like 3 minutes each. So you can do a good short in a short time frame. You don't need 8 or 9 minutes. These were just way too long and not funny. Yeah. So don't watch these. If you're watching this show, just don't watch them.
Let
Derek?
See, okay. I think the criticism that they were too long is definitely fair. I think I found myself sitting there through most of them. See, to me, most of them had at least a couple chuckle moments. To me, most of them did. Now, were there a couple that were clunkers? Yes, and I will say, guys, these are not bingeable.
No.
Don't binge these. Because if you try and binge them, you will hit about episode 5 or 6 and go, I can't do this anymore.
That's what happened to me, and it was like episode 4. It was on episode 5, and I just stopped. I couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened with me.
But I will say, for me, I watched the first 2 episodes, and then I had gone away, and then I was actually kind of looking forward to going back and watching episode 3 and 4 potentially. But then I had to get into binging them to be able to get them all, because I wanted to get them all watched for this show. And I know, Pete, did you end up watching all of them?
I did, and the way I did is we watched 3 per day, and I agree, like 2 is probably the right number.
Yeah. I think if you have a little boy who is a huge Cars fan, that's the target audience for these. And even then, they still should have been shorter. I don't even think it's the worst thing we've watched in the last week and a half or 2 weeks, but these are not, because you can't tell me these were worse than Pinocchio.
No,
I didn't watch Pinocchio, so I'm glad I'm hearing that it was. I saw
it's not worse than Pinocchio.
So
that's good to know. Oh wow, Pinocchio is that bad, you guys?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Poor
Tom Hanks. Come on, Tom Hanks.
Pinocchio got our first ever do not watch from everyone on the panel.
From everyone. Oh wow.
Yes. So it's not the worst thing I've seen, but yeah, these could have been edited, especially for Owen Wilson to come back for these when it was not his voice in The Mater's Tall Tales as Lightning. It was actually Craig Ferguson.
That's right.
Who knows? For him to have come back for these, Disney should have just saved their money and had him in another episode of Loki.
Well, and when you think there's, even if we consider they're only like 8 minutes each, there's 9 of them. That's like an hour. This was almost a movie.
It was, and it should not have been.
Right.
If there had been 5 of them, I think they would have been better. I think the intro, 3 middle activities, and the wedding, because the wedding had some moments.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I was just sick of it by then, but
But
there was. I mean, even that, like some of the stuff was so obvious. It's like, oh, she's gonna be Cruz is gonna be the wedding officiant because she's
everything,
doing everything. It's like it was so telegraphed. Like some of the jokes were so telegraphed. I mean, I would agree with you that I think kids would like this.
Now, I also think though that it fits into the whole. There were a couple episodes though that were done for the adults. The Thunderdome one. There was a Mad Max Takeoff episode. That one was done for adults in theory, and so was the hotel haunted spooky.
The Shining,
The Shining.
Shining. I mean, race car, half of it written backwards. I mean,
yeah. In the hallway.
I will say I laughed at that they wrote race car and it's the same backwards as forwards.
It doesn't
really work.
I actually
it's called a palindrome. Pete.
Episode first started, I thought it was going to be based off of the Haunted Mansion.
And there were a few things off the Haunted Mansion on that, but it was mostly based on The Shining.
Right. And then when the 2 cars were in the hallway, I was like, oh, this isn't Haunted Mansion. This is The Shining.
Yeah.
So
kids love The Shining.
The Shining.
If you like The Shining, you need to see what's that movie?
The documentary.
That one movie
with the thing and the guy in the place that we'll never forget.
I'm gonna think of it. Yeah.
Ready Player One.
That's it. Ready Player One. That's exactly what I was thinking, Pete. Thank you, Pete.
Okay. So
if you're interested in The Shining, but you don't like scary movies, and you like video game movies, watch Ready Player One. It's not on Disney Plus, but it's fantastic. It's a
I
great
do
book
not
too.
know how you got from The Shining to Ready Player
Neither
One.
do I.
Because there's a whole
Have you
sequence.
guys-
There's
if
a
you
whole
haven't
sequence
seen
in
it-
that movie
yeah.
that
Oh no, I've
takes
seen
place.
it and I've read the book.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
But anyway,
No,
we'll
the
talk about
movie
that.
is-
Well, the
Yeah.
book is not actually the same as the movie in that scene. That
Yeah.
scene is completely different in the movie and the book. But
Oh,
The
okay.
movie isn't great, but I would say that scene's kind of cool. That sequence in the
I
Shining.
love
and
that.
see, I think
love
the
that
better
movie.
Shining takeoff is in Toy Story, where the hallway in Sid's house, the carpet is the same as
carpet
the
is The
carpet in The
Shining, right?
Shining.
Yeah.
I never knew that.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that either.
In Toy
Thank
Story
God.
1, the
Even
carpet
on
is The Shining.
two
Is the
shows
carpet.
that we're not that big of fans of, you can learn something on tonight's show.
I love The Shining, so
Kate,
Oh no, I'm terrified of it.
Pixie Dust on the series out of 5.
Oh my goodness.
1.5.
Okay. Pete,
I'm gonna give it 2. And if you have small children, I would maybe for them give it a little bit higher rating, like a 3. But for as just myself, a 2.
Sam,
I'm gonna copy Kate
Do it.
and say 1.5.
Don't be a copycat.
I'm gonna be a copy Kate.
Do it.
and I gotta go with 2 because it's better than Pinocchio, and I give Pinocchio 1.5. They remind me a lot of the Baymax shorts for me. They
It's
were
the theory of relativity.
I like the Baymax shorts better.
and
Oh, yeah.
and most of
Way
you did.
better.
Baymax shorts for me were not that great. So
Baymax shorts were way better. Not that the Baymax shorts were the best, but they were way better than this.
Yeah.
well, next week we will basically be watching a movie. Andor is premiering next week, and there are 3 episodes. And each of those episodes is about 45 or 50 minutes long. So it's basically we're going to be watching a Star Wars movie for next week.
So Sam, Kate, dig in.
Do I need to rewatch Rogue One? Right?
No.
Is it?
No.
No.
You
Okay.
shouldn't.
Because this takes place before that.
Before
So
Rogue
Oh,
One.
this is before Rogue. So remind us, Pete or Derek, one of you knows this. Where does Andor take place in the timeline?
Okay,
of, like,
so
the,
Andor
relative to the movies.
yeah, Andor takes place at the height of the Empire's. Well, I don't know about the height of the Empire's power, but it's basically 5 years before the original Star Wars movie.
It's the same time as Obi-Wan.
So
Gotcha.
Obi-Wan takes place kind of right in the middle, a couple years before this. But this story is kind of the rise of the rebellion as a
Organized force.
as an organized force that I think when the series starts out, we're going to see that there's people that are rebelling, but not as a group. And we're going to see the formation kind of the rebellion through this. That's actually going to lead us to Rogue One. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a lot watching, I think, 3 episodes, but similarly, I would recommend everybody to not watch all 3 at once.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Give yourself a little
when
bit
you
of
said
time.
before the first Star Wars, did you mean Star Wars: A New Hope?
A
or
New
did you
Hope.
mean-
Yes.
Okay. So
Episode 4.
we're talking
After 3
after
before
episode
4.
3. Okay.
The original.
Gotcha. Yep. So Vader is Vader, and the children
Yes.
have been born.
Yeah, so Vader is out there, the Emperor is out there, and the Empire is out there, and this is the formation of the group that will eventually take down the Empire.
Gotcha. So Luke and Leia are children. So we're probably
Well,
not going
they'd
to see
be
them.
It'd be 10.
yeah, no, they'd be like 13. This is 5 years
13, 14.
before
Yeah.
13, 14 when this series, but I do not expect we're going to see them.
I
we
would
could-
hope not. I
we
hope
could
we
s-
don't.
No, I don't think we will. Everything I hear about this is a much more gritty take on on war. It's very much like a war show. So a little more realistic maybe than fantasy. I don't know.
Interesting.
And
So,
that's
if you
talking
like-
about Star Wars.
Yes. Well, I mean, if you like Rogue One, if you liked Rogue One, this is going to have a similar feel to it.
All right.
Okay.
I liked Rogue One.
Yeah, it was really good.
For me, Rogue One grew on me. When I first watched it, I didn't like it because I didn't know what to expect. I expected a normal Star Wars movie, and it wasn't.
No.
But Rogue One has grown on me since I've watched it the first time. So.
I don't remember.
Okay. Long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, George Lucas wanted to make billions of dollars on top of the billions he already
I saw Rogue One in theaters, but I'm not sure if I watched it since then.
So he decided to tell the story of how they got the plans to destroy the Death Star before the Death Star ever gets destroyed.
Right.
And that, my friends, is How I Met Your Mother.
Right.
Okay. Well,
and it turned out to be Aunt Robin.
And I still want this. I still want a Star Wars comedy.
That's not Solo.
Solo was not a comedy. I mean, they tried to make some jokes in it, but it was not.
Yeah,
it was never a comedy.
Yeah,
and that's I'm gonna be controversial because I didn't care for it. I've now seen Solo 4 or 5 times because it's not that bad.
I didn't hate it. I'm gonna tell you, Pete. I didn't hate it. I actually enjoyed it.
Like initially, the first time I watched it, it was very distracting. All the what you call fan service. Like, oh, how'd he get his name? Oh, he's alone. He must be Solo. Ha ha ha. And that kind of stuff was distracting. But watching it, once you get past that, there's some good stuff in there. The hijacking of
the train.
The train is fantastic. That's probably one of the best sequences in all of Star Wars. There's some really good stuff in that movie. Is it the best Star Wars movie? No. But it's
not the worst.
It's not the worst.
I watched the Phantom Menace happened to be on TV today, and I watched about 15 minutes of that, and that will get me through the next 10 years.
Yeah, and Attack of the Clones is worse than that, in my opinion. But
guys, I'll be honest, October's fairly full. We've got Hocus Pocus coming up. We've got Werewolf. We've got the She-Hulk finale. But coming into late October, early November, we're going to have some episodes where we need some ideas on what to watch. So please email us at plusplatoon@gmail.com. Message me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, any of those private messages. Let us know if there's something you would like us to watch on this show, because we need some ideas. We've got a few, but there's going to be a gap there before Thanksgiving where not a lot is going to come out. So that being said, please email us again at plusplatoon@gmail.com. Shows come out every Thursday on YouTube and all major podcast things. Please listen in and then give us those 5-star reviews so more people can listen and join into what all of you seem to be enjoying. With that, everyone, thank you, Pete, Kate, and Sam, and we are out of here. So good night, everyone.
Good night.
Thanks for watching this week's episode of the Plus Platoon. Be sure to subscribe to the Plus Platoon podcast to keep getting great content each week. Then head over to Apple Podcasts and leave those 5-star reviews as they help make the Plus Platoon visible to even more Disney Plus fans. Also, go to YouTube and like and subscribe to the Plus Platoon channel, where you can watch all future episodes live. If you have a question for the Plus Platoon, please send us an email to plusplatoon@gmail.com or connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram @plusplatoon.
The Plus Platoon is a Disney Plus fan podcast and is not affiliated with the Walt Disney Company or the Disney Plus streaming service. All opinions expressed on the show are solely those of the individual hosts and in no way reflect the views of the Walt Disney Company.
Thanks for watching, and be sure to stay tuned for next week's episode because the Plus Platoon is to be continued.